Looks like the Gradles are creeping around. We have more of the Joey Wheeler special, a lot more of the Joey Wheeler special, and some other interesting little decks as well. Make sure you guys smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out more on kind of there are a lot of cool variants that I've been seeing people come up with, and seeing a Gradle concoction I think is one of the cooler variations that I have had the chance to see, because obviously you have a little bit of synergy with this deck being able to already have access to level 8, which is kind of cool to say the least, because what we want to see is just consistency with the deck. But the Ashutra definitely gives this deck a little bit more flavor in terms of its combo potential. And honestly, I am all for that, man. That is so cool. Obviously, totally awesome. Nice little inclusion into the deck, because, you do have access to some level 2s, which is fine, right? It's just, you don't really see the Gradles getting a chance to really shine. So I think that this is cute, right? Just the little inclusions of the little dumb things that you can build into a deck to make work. Next up is the first of many Joey Wheeler specials. Now this one actually is not the worst idea in the world. You're using more of the board breaker-esque style of cards here to be able to kind of push through things. That's why you see the sphere modes, that's why you see the Raigekis, and evenly matched, Dark World, and all of these really incredibly powerful cards to kind of allow you a chance to push through the more chaotic boards that this format produces, which is an insane concept, by the way. It's a little bit easier to work with this than needing to throw, the Radiant Typhoon package into these variations just to kind of be able to get you the better results, which I don't necessarily really think that that's needed all that much, but it does kind of create an interesting idea, though, of what you can kind of explore within the Joey Wheeler deck, going second board breaker-esque style build. Now, we have another Joey Wheeler list. It's going to be a lot of these, man. This list is actually choosing to play things like Harmonia, the Ecclesia, the Maximus, which are going to be, in their own right, some strong cards for you to kind of be able to set up and work with. But at the same time, does that really feel like a good presence to the list? And I would say it doesn't feel too bad. The only thing I'm slightly worried about is, how are we getting something out of the extra deck besides like the one Nadir Servant that, we're choosing to play? I guess the logic is like you should be able to see the Ecclesia, but in terms of refinement, I think this list needs to be a little bit more... Sorry, Yug. Had to sneeze there for a second. I think this deck needs a little bit more refinement, but for an early concept list, it doesn't look necessarily too bad, all things considered, because, your job is to control and then be able to OTK with the double baby dragon line. If that's all your deck can do, it's fine. And then somebody said, you know what if we take this one step further, right? The Panther Warrior wants to be able to tribute. If the Panther Warrior is getting what he wants to do, to be able to get the monster pulled out of the deck, well, then let's play the Heretic Dragons with this. Because, it makes sense, right? Tubman's an incredibly good card. His job is to allow you some generically good access to the deck, which is usually a good sign, right? Which I think is fine. You're playing 44 cards in this list. The Heretic Sphere stuff, or the Heretic Dragon stuff, just gives you a consistency. Like, you're playing an engine to fuel your actual Joey Wheeler cards, which is kind of nice. But this is 3 different variations of what you can do with the Joey Wheeler deck. And I think it's cool that, the deck itself might not have been the most exciting concept at the beginning of its life, which is fine, but we're seeing more exploration with this later on, which is cool. Now, we also get to see some Ars Magna buildup with the Elf Note package. Now, you're going to notice, a lot of the normal Elf Note monsters that you're kind of used to seeing, they're not really present in here anymore. We don't really have Tenia kind of helping us out, the red one. She's not really here in style kind of help us out. What you're seeing is, the rest of the Elf Note package is basically full bridge into the Ars Magna package, which, you know, at that point in time, it's good to go. I also do see we have, obviously, an Archmage line in the deck as well, because Non Finito is an incredibly good card. But also, you're playing 3 of the new spell card. You're doing 3 of the Power Terminus as well in here, just to kind of be able to get yourself started and be able to make sure that the deck is going. So, interesting setup, honestly. I do like that we are seeing, you know, some developments for Ars Magna. Next up is more Ars Magna. Now this is, you know, with the big power patron guys themselves, you are playing one of each of them, which I do think is fine. Only going with 2 Medius, which is good. In terms of the Ars Magna, you're playing 3 of the better one and then 1 of each of the sub ones, which I think does work out. And then, of course, I see we have access to Non Finito in here. Being able to turn your, you know, the Power Patron itself that counts as the Archmage card into the full combo line will actually just kind of help you out with the end board. But once again, this is another example of what you can kind of do with this. I also see we are playing the World's Greatest Thief in the side deck, which is very, very, very techy tech choice. That card has been doing some amazing work within these lists, and I think that's really, really cool. Just splashability is very, very key. So awesome to see that, you know, more innovations doing its job. Next up, we get to see probably the most basic Umbre Horror list that has been running around. Now, in terms of the new Umbre Horror list, you're basically playing a rank 4 turbo deck, right? The goal of the Umbre Horror stuff is to be able to get into the bigger pieces and then kind of set up a walking, talking giant floodgate monster that makes it so that the opponent can't search. We've seen Thunder Dragon Colossus before. You know, in 2019, he was an absolute monster, but, you know, in 2026, he's not anywhere near as broken as he was. That's why, you know, they've been able to create bigger versions that kind of raise the ceiling here and showcase more of that power is doable. I see our rank up spell card in the deck of choice is the one next to 7 Tachyon. Remember, Japan only has access to 1/7 Tachyon due to their ban list, so they just kind of bridge through the 777th Ascension, and then they basically just go down the play line like that, which is fine, right? As long as you know your searchers are still getting the job done, I don't think you're going to have much of a reason to be disappointed. Trap tricks with the Ashutra. So this was an early concept that I had seen people talking about, but actually kind of seeing this pop up is really nice. You also do see we are playing a mini Labyrinth package in here. This is just to be able to get you some rotations into the other trap cards, which I do think is kind of a big help in this deck. The Labyrinth stuff, while being completely generic, is very, very accessible to be able to kind of do some nice things for this pop. But also, you know, the trap trick stuff, it does kind of bait your opponent, right? Like, if they see that you're, you know, setting up trap trick stuff, it's going to be some basic setup lines to kind of get that control set up. Because I guess in theory, you know, your goal with this is the trap trick stuff is going to get the basic combo line going. But also at the same time, you know, you're going to be able to kind of bridge through some things and be able to get set up. Also, you're only playing 3 of the... Your only spell card in the deck is the Ashutra spell card, which is interesting. Quakime with Adamancipator, and of course Block Dragon. I truly wish that we would be able to enjoy a build like this. I think that this deck is so spicy in the way that it's able just to kind of get set up and go, but the TCG just is not for this variation for whatever reason. You know, not having Block Dragon really does kind of hinder some of the consistency that you could be seeing with this, which, I mean, I guess is fine, right? Not having Baron, not having Borreload Savage, and not having Block Dragon, all generically good extenders for this deck, actually kind of stinks, actually. But, you know, it's food for thought, right? You know, seeing how this deck combos up, you know, having 3 of the new rock in it, 3 of the new additional level 6 in the deck. By the way, that level 6 stacking the rock back on top of the deck is really, really good. Kudos to actually watching this deck do absolutely crazy things. And then, of course, our last list here is a Paleozoic Ashutra list. This is probably one of the nastier lists that I have seen come up in discussion. Because obviously your goal here is to be able to, you know, do paleo play lines, but also, you know, use the Ashutra stuff to be able to devastate the opponent. Also, the Necro Slime is another nasty level 2 that you get to play, which is really, really cool. I think this is one of the spiciest lists I've seen actually coming out for the Ashutra, and I do hope more people will kind of give some consideration to testing this. So what do you guys think? Please leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here in a day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.